Hi everybody. This is Dr. Bam. I wanted to kind of take you over some of these last assignments that are going on and help you understand a couple things. And so hopefully this will be beneficial as you guys finish up the course. I'm going to go over here to Unit 7, and I always recommend going directly into the unit versus jumping around, because then you get to make sure you see everything that's due. And so the Unit 7, of course, the 16 hours, that'll be varied based on how you completed. Some of you completed your 16 hours no problem, and those points are entered. If I didn't count all your hours in the first 8, please submit whatever hours you have left over. You have the 3 waived hours, and of course you could have completed any of the alternative assignments that were set up to finish off that last 8. Portfolio 3 assignment. Now, some of you might struggle with this depending on how much you were in your program, your field experience. So I'm going to kind of explain what you can do. So I'm going to read through this. As in past assignments, present your assignments where I can see your identification. So please make sure that you give me some type of identification in this. You are going to be able to do this in various ways. You can do a video presentation if you would like. I have to be able to hear you. I don't necessarily have to be able to see you. If you have Marco Polo, that is a great way to send me a video. It lets you record. Don't try to submit the video to Marco Polo. Record right into Marco Polo, you completing your assignment. Have somebody video you next to your computer so you can have a PowerPoint if you want. PowerPoint is optional for assignment, but a lot of times when you're videotaping it is beneficial. Okay? So I need to be able to see it, or to hear it. I don't necessarily need to be able to see it since PowerPoint is optional. So what you're giving me is materials you should be seen, discussing the required components of the assignment. Send a link to the PowerPoint so it can be viewed if you make one. So a lot of people will submit the video via Marco Polo, or they'll submit a video with one submission and a PowerPoint with the other submission. Sometimes I can give you some extra points if the information's in the PowerPoint, but you didn't say it, and vice versa, or if you said it and it's not in the PowerPoint. So some people like to do that optional piece. So what are you discussing? Strategies you observed and how they were implemented. So when you're thinking of strategies, this is how did the teacher teach, okay? How did they approach getting students to learn? So did they lecture? Did they do small groups? Did they do whole groups? Did they do centers? Did they do math time? How did they set up the learning within their classrooms? So if you did not get to spend that much time in a classroom, you need to go look at some videos of the observation videos we have, some other observation videos that you might find online, and find some of these strategies that teachers can use. If you're doing a PowerPoint and you want to snap a picture, that's fine. Freeze the video, snap a picture, do a screenshot, cut that picture, and put it into your PowerPoint. So that would be a great way to do it. If it's from the internet and there's children in it, that's fine. If it's from your field site, do not include children from your field site. How did the teacher develop the observed strategies using the 5 elements to help students learn? These were from your book. They include audience, focus, organization, clarity, and pacing. So how did they address their audience? So they should not be addressing first graders the same way you would address high schoolers. So what did they use to address the age of their audience? How did they maintain focus in their classroom? How did they organize the lesson? So people make mistakes with this one in that they talk about how they organize the classroom, but how did they organize their teaching? How did they clarity? How did they clarify if students didn't understand? What did they do? What steps? How did they make sure that their pacing was at a good pace? Okay, make sure you discuss all 5 in your video. Otherwise, it will not be counted. You'll lose points on one of these 5 areas if you do not discuss it. Remember, you can put it, and I'll give you some points if it's in the PowerPoint, but if you don't discuss it, you will lose some points. People get a little bit worried. They're like, 5 minutes, that's a long time. But by the time you answer all of this information, it's going to be 5 minutes. I've already been talking 5 minutes. So that's the minimum. You can go above 5 minutes if you need to. I'm using Screencast-O-Matic right now. It's going to give me a link to YouTube. If that's how you want to present, you can use that. You can create a free account. You can do it through Marco Polo. You can create a YouTube. You can upload whatever video that you are able to do. How are students with recognized learning disabilities, physical handicaps, or English language learners included in the classroom? So hopefully you saw that. If not, go find a video that includes one of these disabilities, or includes these three: a learning disability, physical handicap, and English language learners, and discuss on how the teacher supported those students in the classroom. What methods were used to communicate with parents? So hopefully you got into the school at least once. And so hopefully you saw signs. Were there newsletters? How have they been communicating with people during COVID-19? Have they been sending emails? Have they been posting to their Facebook? Have they been updating their website? Those are the types of ways that a school district and a teacher will communicate with parents. So discuss what the location you were observing at is doing. And then finally, classroom management. So how did anything that they use to keep the students organized, so that is going to talk about some classroom managed stuff. Does talk about how the arrangement of the room might support classroom management, how certain things on desks might support classroom management. Did they keep it orderly? What did they do to keep students engaged and manage their classroom? And then finally, you need to give me at least a paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences that you will read or include in your PowerPoint about your own philosophy. So what do you now believe in regards to teaching based on all this information that you observed? Let me know if you have any questions on this assignment. I'm going to jump over. Remember, you can come back to this video. So just remember, it's about 7 minutes in when I start talking about the final project. So this ends this project, and I hope that helped to kind of expand understanding what you should be doing for this project. Once again, I must hear you. I don't have to see you, but I must hear you. And it must be 5 minutes or longer for you to get full credit, and it must address all those points right there, those 6 points that are bullet pointed. You can do it via Marco Polo, via YouTube, a link. As long as I can open it, you can do it that way. However you want to get me the audio, the video, like I said, this is on Screencast-O-Matic. If you want to start a Screencast-O-Matic and screencast your PowerPoint while you're talking, that is fine for me as well. I will work with whatever way you want to turn it in. Okay, let me go to your final assignment because I want to discuss that as well. In Unit 8, your final project is here. This is considered your final for the course. You are creating a PowerPoint, and it is required for this. Now, it doesn't have to be a PowerPoint. If you want to use Google Slides, I am fine with that. If you want to do a Adobe Spark, some people really like the Adobe Spark, I am fine with that. It can be on any presentation tools. What I do need to see is that there's 10 separate, or a separate section for each of these, so that I can clearly grade, and I do ask that you put them in the order that they are listed here. It makes grading a lot easier for me, and I'm a lot less frustrated, which means I grade more consistently. Let's put it that way. Okay, so the very first thing is you must have a title page or a title slide on what certification you are researching. So you are going to research the certification that you are trying to obtain. So are you trying to obtain an elementary degree? So if you're wanting to teach elementary school, you would either be going for an EC6 ESL or an EC3 ESL. Everybody pretty much in the state of Texas has ESL now tacked on to their elementary degrees. EC3 is early childhood through 3rd grade. Not as many of them have those. Those are a new degree, new certification. They just started recertifying in January of this year, and I'm sure not that much happened because of everything that's come up. So not every school has that program, but you'll often find the EC6 certification. You can also be doing in K-12 special education, K-12 athletics. There's several K-12 areas. that you might be pursuing, music, art, things like that. Or maybe you're pursuing high school or a middle school. So you might be looking for 4-8 math or 7-12 social studies composite. So you need to find that certificate that you want to do. One of the reasons is this will help you make sure you're getting the right classes at Hill. Make sure you're heading towards your correct degree path. And working with where do you want to finish your teaching program. So remember, it's 2 years here at Hill, and then 2 to 3 years, depending on how fast you go, at your university or college. Next, you need to give a description of that certificate. On the title slide, it's what certificate, just the name and your name. So clearly your name should be on it. The next slide should be the description of the certificate. So what qualifies you to teach that? What will you be qualified to teach once you get it? How many hours do you have to have? Are you going for middle or high school? So that's usually in middle and high school when you're looking at hours in a certain subject. Okay, what do you need to do to gain that certification? That's what you're researching. What tests do you need to take for the certification? Everyone should have that, whether you're becoming a K-12 special education teacher or an elementary teacher, middle or high. You have to take so many certification tests. Find out what those are. Next, you'll find job posting skills requirements. I do not want you to copy and paste the job posting, but talk specifically about what requirements are they asking you have beyond your certification. So maybe they are asking for an ESL. Maybe they want so many years of experience. Maybe they want you to be skilled in Blackboard or Canvas. Maybe they want you to have experience with Microsoft Office. So what other skills are they asking that you have in order to be hired for that job? Then you need to look for job posting duty requirements. So look at several job postings for the subject or level that you would like to teach. I recommend, you can look anywhere at any school district, but I do recommend going to some of the bigger school districts because you'll find more options. Right now, people aren't hiring a ton because of everything going on, so it might be difficult to find postings. So I'd look at Waco, look at Austin, look at Dallas, look at Fort Worth. You're going to find more job postings at those locations. What duties are they going to require? So beyond just teaching, what do you have to be doing? And we're going to look at job postings, and I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. Then you must find the salaries and benefits. Do not give me generic cookie cutter stuff. Every district is different. So don't say the average teacher in Texas makes this. You'll lose points. You need to tell me the school district and the salaries and benefits. You need to do some research. You need to learn how to use the websites for school districts so that you know what you're getting yourself into. If you're teaching in Grandview, Texas, you're going to be paid less than if you're teaching in Fort Worth, Texas. And so I want you to look to figure out how can you evaluate these school districts, what their salaries are, and what their benefits are. You're going to give me the salary for a first-year teacher with 0 experience. We're going to look at that in a second, so I can show you how to do that. So finally, bachelor's degree program. You need to find the degree plan for the bachelor's program that you are going to. You can put it in as a link in the PowerPoint, Spark, whatever presentation tool you're doing, but I want to be able to link out to it. Otherwise, you can copy and paste and make it its own slide and then a second slide giving the other information. So you need to discuss what you're taking at Hill, how it works into the transfer program, and all of that. So we can look at one of those examples as well, how you would find a bachelor's degree program. Finally, you're going to do your reflection. And this, I say, be completely honest. It should be a solid paragraph. 3 sentences is not a paragraph in my book. In my book, a paragraph is a topic sentence, 3 supporting sentences, and a conclusion sentence. And as teachers, you should adapt that because that's going to be the general belief of most teaching programs. Any paragraph should be at least 5 sentences long. So give me 5 to 8 sentences on, do you still want to pursue teaching now that you have researched it? Yes, why or why not? Don't tell me the money and because you get summers off. I want you to give me good reasons for why you want to do it, what you have learned about why or why not you want to do it, and how you're going to do it. And if you say, I don't want to do it, give me reasons. What did you discover? Why you don't want to do it? Okay, so I am going to show you three things. I'm going to show you a job